welcome to the deep dive. Living in Pennsylvania, you get used to the rain. It feels like it's always raining sometimes.
Right, it's just part of the landscape here.
But what if that rain, that constant drizzle, could actually be powering things? Today we're looking at PA's big goal, 100% carbon neutral by 2042.
Ambitious, definitely.
And a major hurdle for solar power here is, well, all that rain and cloud cover. It cuts efficiency, sometimes by like 30%.
Yeah, that's a significant hit for traditional solar panels, the photovoltaic or PV ones.
So our mission today is to explore something pretty cutting edge, rain-powered solar tech. Is it actually feasible for PA? Okay, let's unpack this.
It's a really interesting angle because, Pennsylvania has been growing its solar capacity quite a bit. We're over 300 megawatts now.
That's not insignificant.
Not at all. But those frequent clouds, the rain, it really limits how much power you reliably get from standard PV panels. That energy gap is a real challenge for hitting that 2042 target.
Right, that shortfall is exactly the problem.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting. Enter triboelectric nanogenerators, or TENS.
10, yeah.
These aren't just solar panels that can handle getting wet. They're actually designed to capture the energy from the raindrops hitting them.
Exactly. It's fascinating stuff. The idea is turning something that's usually bad for solar, the rain, into, well, an additional source of energy.
How does that even work?
So research from places like Suzhou and Tsinghua universities shows they use these really thin, transparent polymer layers on top of the solar cell.
Okay.
When raindrops hit and roll off, the friction creates static electricity, like shuffling your feet on carpet.
Ah, okay. Static electricity.
Right. So you get this dual benefit: solar power when the sun's out, and power from the rain itself when it's cloudy or pouring. Plus, they tend to work better in low light than standard PV.
That sounds like a perfect match for Pennsylvania. Almost suspiciously perfect. What's the catch? Are there downsides?
Oh, definitely. It's still emerging tech. The biggest concern right now is durability. Those polymer layers, they might break down faster than the silicon in regular panels.
So potentially higher maintenance costs down the line.
Potentially, yes. And there are technical challenges in making sure you don't lose too much energy transferring power between all the tiny Tang cells across a panel.
Makes sense. Okay, but let's talk specifics for PA. We get around 41 inches of precipitation a year on average. How do Tangs handle that kind of, typical Pennsylvania weather?
That's actually a good range for them. They seem to work best in moderate rain, maybe 1 to 5 millimeters per hour, which covers a lot of our typical rainfall events, even snowmelt runoff.
And runoff. Does that connect to other issues?
It does, actually. There was a Penn State study just this year, 2024, showing that solar farms, if designed right, can help manage stormwater runoff. Tang systems inherently channel water, so they could potentially tie into that benefit.
Interesting. What about the cold? Our winters aren't exactly gentle.
Good point. People are already thinking about that. For instance, in colder areas like, say, Venango County, there are ideas like using half-buried cisterns or insulated pipes for parts of the system to prevent freezing. Adaptations are possible.
Okay, technically feasible, even with the cold.
Yeah.
But the economics, is this going to cost an arm and a leg up front?
Well, initially, yes. A hybrid TNGV system is probably around 40% more expensive than just standard PV. You've got more complex materials, wiring.
40% is quite a jump.
It is. But the modeling suggests that because you're harvesting energy more consistently sun and rain, you could shorten the payback period by maybe 15 to 20% over 20 years, especially if you factor in federal tax credit.
15 to 20% faster payback.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps balance the initial cost.
And there's another potential angle in PA. Some cities, like Philly, offer incentives if you manage stormwater runoff effectively. These hybrid systems could potentially qualify for things like that.
Yeah.
But this raises a really important point: Pennsylvania's current regulations. They don't really have specific rules or incentives for rain-powered systems yet.
Wait, really? Even with the state having that big, like, $500 million market for renewable energy credits?
Exactly. It's a gap. A regulatory blind spot that could slow things down quite a bit if it's not addressed.
That feels critical for actually getting this out there.
Yeah.
Are there any real-world tests happening? Anyone actually using this in PA?
Yes. There are pilot projects starting up. There's a startup in Pittsburgh, Rain Solar Energy. They've got a test site in Allegheny County.
And what are they finding?
They're combining TENS, mounted in the gutters actually, with bifacial solar panels that capture light on both sides. They reported about a 12% higher energy yield during the rainy months compared to just the panels alone.
12%. That's not trivial.
No, it adds up. And here's something I found surprising: an environmental co-benefit. Sometimes, lots of dark rooftop solar panels can slightly increase local temperatures, the urban heat island effect, maybe by up to 1.5 degrees Celsius.
I've heard about that.
But these 10 layers, because water evaporates off them, might actually help cool the surface. They could dissipate some of that heat through evaporation, like a tiny active cooling system.
Wow. Okay. So potential energy boost and a cooling effect. What's the public feeling? Are people open to this kind of new tech on their roofs or in their communities?
It's mixed, as you'd expect with anything new, but the background is positive. About 60% of Pennsylvanians already support community solar models, where people share the benefits of a larger solar project, so there's an underlying openness to new renewable approaches.
Okay, so wrapping this up,
Right.
what does this all mean for PA's energy future? It sounds promising, definitely innovative, but clearly there are hurdles, durability, cost, that regulatory gap.
Yeah, if you connect it to the bigger picture, this rain harvesting tech is potentially a really powerful tool for Pennsylvania. Getting it right means investing in the research, solving those durability and cost issues,
And fitting the policy side.
and critically, updating the policies to actually recognize and incentivize systems like this. If PA can do that, it could genuinely become a leader in these kinds of hybrid renewable energy systems that fit its specific climate.
So the big question remains for you, the listener. Can Pennsylvania take something we have in abundance rain and turn it from a solar energy challenge into a unique, powerful, clean energy asset? It's definitely something to think about.